If you watch this video until the end, you will definitely pass your theory test on the first attempt, because this video covers all 643 signs you need to know. There are 3 types of road sign shapes: circular, triangular, and rectangular. Circular signs give orders. A red and white sign prohibits you from doing something, and a blue sign orders you to do something. The road sign above means you're prohibited from performing a U-turn in the road. Triangular signs give warnings. For example, the traffic sign above gives a warning of an icy road ahead. The triangular sign may be upright or inverted. Rectangular signs give information. For example, the sign above tells you that a street is one way, that is, traffic can only move in a single direction on a particular road. Now, let's get started. "10 miles to the next motorway service area. 100 yards to a junction ahead controlled by a stop sign. 100 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a non-primary route. 100 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a route. 100 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a route. 100 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a primary route. 200 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a non-primary route. 200 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a route. 200 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a route. 200 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a primary route. 200 yards to escape lane ahead for vehicles unable to stop on a steep hill. 200 yards to escape lane to the left for vehicles unable to stop on a steep hill. 300 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a non-primary route. 300 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a route. 300 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a route. 300 yards to a roundabout, or the next point at which traffic may leave a primary route. 400 yards ahead to hazard. 50 yards to junction ahead controlled by a give way sign. Accident ahead. Accompanied horses or ponies likely to be in or crossing road ahead. Additional traffic joining from the left ahead, non-primary route. Additional traffic lane joining from the left ahead. Additional traffic lane joining from the left ahead in 200 yards. Traffic on the main carriageway has priority over joining traffic. Additional traffic lane joining from the left ahead, non-primary routes. Additional traffic lane joining from the left in 200 yards. Traffic on main carriageway had priority over joining traffic from the right-hand lane of the slip road, primary routes. Additional traffic lane joining from the right ahead. Additional traffic lanes joining from the right ahead. Traffic in the right-hand lane joins the main carriageway. Traffic on the main carriageway has priority over joining traffic, primary route. Additional traffic lanes joining from the right ahead. Traffic on the main carriageway has priority over joining traffic. Advance warning of a mandatory height restriction ahead. Adverse camber on a bend or roundabout. Maximum speed of 30 miles per hour advised at a bend or other hazard. Agricultural vehicles likely to be in road ahead. All vehicles prohibited during the time indicated except for access. All vehicles prohibited except pedal cycles being pushed by pedestrians. All vehicles prohibited from Play Street during the period indicated except for access. Another train or tram car may be about to pass over the level crossing. Appropriate traffic lanes for different maneuvers at a junction after a break in a bus lane. Appropriate traffic lanes for different maneuvers at a junction ahead. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. House of historic or architectural importance. Area in which cameras are used to enforce the speed limit regulations. Area infected by animal disease ahead. Tourist symbol for England only. Museum or art gallery. Availability of motorway service areas ahead with distances and names of operators. Length of road where 2 cameras are used to measure the average speed of a vehicle between 2 points. Bay reserved for loading and unloading by goods vehicles. Bay reserved for loading and unloading by goods vehicles during the period indicated. Bay reserved for loading and unloading by goods vehicles during the period indicated. And waiting prohibited during the period indicated. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, beach. Bend ahead to the right. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, bird garden. Hey, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. And if you want to support us, you can just go to our channel and click on the join button to join our channel membership, link in the description. Your support helps us bring you more content to ace your theory test. Now, let's get back to the video. Blasting danger ahead. Blind children likely to cross road ahead. Blind pedestrians likely to cross road ahead. Blind summit ahead. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, 10-pin bowling. Bus lane on road at junction ahead. Bus lane with traffic proceeding from both ways. Reminder for pedestrians. Parking place for buses. Stopping place for buses. Stopping place for buses used for carrying tourists to allow passengers to take photographs. Buses and cycles excluded from restriction or prohibition conveyed by associated sign. Route for use by buses and cycles only. Route for use by buses and tramcars only. Route for use by buses, pedal cycles, and taxis only. Entrance to bus station, depot, or garage. Bypass of cattle grid for horse-drawn vehicles. Camping and caravan site 300 yards ahead. Camping and caravan site 300 yards in the direction indicated. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Castle of historic or architectural interest. Supervised cattle crossing 200 yards ahead. Cattle grid ahead. Cattle likely to be in road ahead. Center lane of a 3-lane single carriageway road closed. Vehicle and Operator Services Agency checkpoint ahead. Drivers should check their distance from the vehicle in front. Testing of child cyclists ahead. Training of child cyclists ahead. Children going to or from school or playground ahead. Closure of all lanes of a 4-lane carriageway ahead. Closure of all lanes of a 3-lane carriageway ahead. Closure of both lanes of a 2-lane carriageway ahead. Closure of 1 lane of a 4-lane carriageway ahead. Closure of 1 lane of a 3-lane carriageway ahead. Closure of right-hand lane of a 2-lane carriageway ahead. Closure of 2 lanes of a 3-lane carriageway ahead. Commencement point of a newly imposed 30 miles per hour speed limit, which is contiguous to an existing 30 miles per hour speed limit. Road congestion charge zone reminder. Continuous prohibition on waiting by vehicles with an exemption for taxis during the period indicated. Continuous prohibition on waiting except for loading and unloading for period indicated. Continuous prohibition on waiting except loading and unloading on the footway. Continuous prohibition on waiting except loading and unloading on the verge. Continuous prohibition on waiting except loading and unloading on verge or footway. Contraflow bus lane, which pedal cycles may also use with traffic approaching from the right. Reminder for pedestrians. Contraflow bus lane. Contraflow cycle lane. Entrance to a controlled parking zone. Countdown marker to railway or tramway level crossing. Countdown marker to railway or tramway level crossing. Countdown marker to railway or tramway level crossing. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Country park. County boundary sign. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Cricket ground. Zebra or signal controlled crossing temporarily out of use. Crossroads ahead. Crossroads ahead. Cycle event ahead. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Cycle higher. Cycle lane on road at junction ahead or cycle track, crossing road. Cycle lane with traffic approaching from both ways. Pedestrian reminder. Cycle lane with traffic proceeding from left. Pedestrian reminder. Cycle lane with traffic proceeding from right. Pedestrian reminder. Parking place for pedal cycles. Cycle route ahead warning. Cycles crossing ahead. Cyclists to dismount and use the adjacent footway. Cyclists to dismount at the end if, or at a break-in, a cycle lane, track, or route. Other danger ahead. Plate beneath indicates the nature of the hazard. Dates when roadworks are to take place overnight and delays are to be expected. Deaf children likely to cross road ahead. Description of the nature of roadworks. Direction along a footpath indicated by waymarks. Direction along a route passing through places of interest recognized by a regional tourist board or the English Tourist Board. Direction and distance to a free parking place for pedal cycles. Direction and distance to a multi-story parking place. Direction and distance to a tourist attraction. Direction and distance to a tourist information point or center. Direction and distance to picnic area. Direction in which pedestrians should look for approaching traffic. Direction of a numbered route for pedal cycles, forming part of a national cycle network at a junction. Direction of route to a tourist attraction for pedestrians. Direction of route to destination shown for pedestrians. Direction of route to destination shown for pedestrians. Direction of route to railway and London Underground station for pedestrians and pedal cycles. Direction of route to railway station for pedestrians and pedal cycles. Direction of temporary diversion route. Direction of temporary diversion route from junction ahead. Direction of temporary route for pedestrians. Direction to a lorry park via U-turn at a roundabout ahead. Direction to a motorway at the junction shown indicating route number. Direction to a motorway at the junction shown, indicating route number and destination reached along the motorway. Direction to a named service area and showing the name of the operator. Direction to a new housing development. Direction to a parking place available only on the day specified. Direction to a parking place for shoppers and showing the total number of spaces. Direction to a parking place from which a park and ride scheme operates. Direction to a parking place from which a park and ride scheme operates. Direction to a public telephone. Direction to a shopping area which provides a shop mobility service for disabled people. Direction to a vehicle checkpoint. Direction to a vehicle ferry. Direction to be taken by roadworks or construction traffic at a junction ahead. Direction to be taken by roadworks or construction traffic at a junction or works entrance. Direction to be taken by roadworks or construction traffic to an access to a work site 100 yards ahead. Direction to destination shown of route advised for goods vehicles. Direction to emergency telephone or telephone at or near a railway or tramway level crossing. Direction to escape lane ahead for vehicles unable to stop on a steep hill. Direction to escape lane to the left for vehicles unable to stop on a steep hill. Direction to a parking place from which a park and ride scheme operates. Direction to public toilets with facilities for disabled people. Direction to services with details of the services provided. Direction to the nearest emergency telephone on the same side of the road. Direction to Vehicle and Operator Services Agency testing station for goods vehicles. Parking place reserved for disabled badge holders. Disabled children likely to cross road ahead. Disabled pedestrians likely to cross road ahead. Entrance to a disc and meter parking zone. Entrance to a disc parking zone. Disc zone parking place where the waiting period is limited and display of a disc is required. Distance ahead to emergency telephone in a parking place. Distance ahead to parking place with a tourist information point, picnic site, public telephone, public toilets, and viewpoint. Distance ahead to services with details of the services provided. Distance and direction of a system of lane control light signals. Distance and direction of route to destination shown for pedestrians. Distance and direction to hazard. Distance to a commercial vehicle's parking place ahead with public toilets and telephones. Distance to a parking place ahead. Diversion route symbol, circular. Diversion route symbol, square. Diversion route symbol, triangular. Direction of temporary diversion route from junction ahead. Parking place reserved for doctor permit holders. Double bend or series of bends ahead, first to the left. Double bend or series of bends ahead, first to the right. Drivers of large or slow vehicles must stop and telephone before using an automatic railway or tramway crossing. Drivers of long-low vehicles must telephone to obtain permission before using a railway or tramway level crossing. Drivers should keep a distance of 2 chevron markings from the vehicle in front. Distance of 2 miles to a section of dual carriageway ahead. Section of dual carriageway road begins ahead. Distance of half a mile of dual carriageway road extends ahead. Dual carriageway. Dust cloud danger ahead. Frail or disabled pedestrians likely to cross road ahead. Direction to emergency exit for pedestrians from a tunnel. Emergency telephone 1 mile ahead. Emergency telephone ahead. Emergency telephone in a parking place. Direction ahead leading to a route for emergency vehicles to an emergency services incident point. End of 20 miles per hour zone and start of 30 miles per hour zone. End of a controlled parking zone applying to goods vehicles over a gross weight of 7.5 tons. End of area where vehicles may be parked partially on the verge or footway. End of area where vehicles may be parked wholly on the verge or footway. End of bus lane. End of restriction on stopping. End of cycle lane, track, or route. End of designated off-highway loading area in which waiting restriction apply. End of designated quiet lane in England. End of temporary diversion route. Dual carriageway ends ahead. End of a system of lane control light signals. End of 30 miles per hour minimum speed limit. End of 40 miles per hour minimum speed limit. Entrance to motorway service area, or similar facility within the length of a motorway where motorway regulations cease to apply. End of motorway regulations, including the national speed limit. End of motorway regulations, including the national speed limit. End of prohibition of goods vehicles exceeding the maximum gross weight indicated in a previous sign. End of restriction or prohibition conveyed by an associated sign. End of temporary permission for traffic to use the hard shoulder. End of temporary restrictions indicated by previous signs. End of vehicle checkpoint area. Tourist symbol for England only. Property in the care of English heritage. Entrance to a 20 miles per hour speed limit zone. Entrance to a car park, private access road, or property. Entrance to a controlled parking zone applying to goods vehicles over a gross weight of 5 tons during the period indicated. Entrance to a controlled parking zone applying to goods vehicles over a gross weight of 7.5 tons during the period indicated. Entrance to a controlled parking zone in operation during the period indicated. Entrance to a controlled parking zone with loading and unloading prohibited. Entrance to a designated off-highway loading area in which waiting restrictions apply. Entrance to a motorway service area. Entrance to a motorway service area at a junction ahead on a motorway slip road. Entrance to voucher parking zone in operation during the period indicated. Entry to and waiting in pedestrian zone restricted except for loading during the period indicated. Instructions to horse riders above the push-button control for an equestrian traffic crossing. Escape lane ahead for vehicles unable to stop on a steep hill. Escape lane to left for vehicles unable to stop on a steep hill. Exemptions for buses, taxis, and pedal cycles from restriction or prohibition conveyed by associated sign. Buses excluded from restriction or prohibition conveyed by associated sign. Cycles excluded from restriction or prohibition conveyed by associated sign. Local buses excluded from restriction or prohibition conveyed by associated sign. Exit from a car park, private access road, or property. Exit from a car park, private access road, or property from a public road not allowed. Exit from a motorway at a junction ahead that should be used for a tourist attraction. Exit from a motorway junction ahead that should be used for a destination along the route advised for goods vehicles. Exit from a work site 200 yards ahead. Explanatory plate for tram car and bus and cycle-only route signs. Fallen tree ahead. Risk of falling or fallen rocks ahead. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Farm park. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Fishing. Flood warning sign. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Football ground. Hey, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. And if you want to support us, you can just go to our channel and click on the join button to join our channel membership, link in the description. Your support helps us bring you more content to ace your theory test. Now, let's get back to the video. Ford warning sign. Free parking for all vehicles, with restrictions on length of waiting time and return period. Free parking for motor cars only, with restrictions on length of waiting time and return period. Free parking for motorcycles only, with restrictions on length of waiting time and return period. Frost damage ahead. Gate warning sign. General directions to different types of parking place. Give way to traffic on the major road. Priority must be given to vehicles from the opposite direction. Gliders likely ahead. Vehicular traffic may proceed into a length of road where one-way working is temporarily necessary. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Golf course. Goods vehicles and buses may be directed to enter a checkpoint ahead. Goods vehicles and buses may be directed to leave the motorway at the junction ahead. Goods vehicles exceeding a gross weight of 7.5 tons prohibited. Goods vehicles may be directed to enter a checkpoint ahead. Goods vehicles may be directed to leave the motorway at the junction ahead. Goods vehicles may be directed to stop ahead by a constable in uniform. Goods vehicles requiring to enter the road for loading or unloading of goods are exempted from the prohibition conveyed by the associated sign. Goods vehicles should get into the left-hand lane of a 3-lane carriageway on the approach to a goods vehicle checkpoint. Goods vehicles should get into the left lane to attend a goods vehicle checkpoint ahead. Goods vehicles should leave the main carriageway on the approach to a vehicle checkpoint. Hazard or prohibition extends for 2 miles. Hazard or prohibition extends for 7 miles. Hidden dip ahead. High vehicles to use middle of road at arch bridge ahead. Nature of work being done by vehicle working on the highway. Historic castle sign. Start of a designated home zone. Horse-drawn vehicles likely to be in road ahead. Wild horses or ponies likely to be in road ahead. Hospital ahead without accident and emergency facilities. Hospital ahead with accident and emergency facilities. Hump bridge ahead. Road hump or series of road humps ahead. Crossing on road hump ahead. Ice ahead. Risk of ice or packed snow ahead. In 200 yards, the number of lanes of traffic lanes ahead on a motorway reduces from 3 lanes to 2. Traffic in the right-hand lane must move into the lane on the immediate left. Information on breakdown recovery services during roadworks. Information relating to a taxi rank for the number of taxis specified. Instructions for drivers of wide loads on how to telephone for assistance. Instructions to drivers of wide loads to follow a diversion to avoid the road works ahead. Instructions to pedestrians above the push control at light signals. Instructions to pedestrians and cyclists above the push-button control at a toucan crossing. Junction ahead controlled by a stop or give way sign. Junction ahead from a motorway exit slip road to the tourist attractions shown. Junction ahead from a motorway exit slip road to the tourist attractions shown. Junction ahead leading to a car ferry. Junction ahead leading to a destination advised for goods vehicles. Junction ahead leading to a London Underground railway station. Junction ahead leading to a parking place for pedal cycles. Junction ahead leading to a route for emergency vehicles to a temporary incident control point. Junction ahead leading to a temporary diversion route. Follow symbolic route. Junction ahead leading to a tourist attraction. Junction ahead leading to route advised for goods vehicles. Junction ahead of a primary route with non-primary route through a town or village that has been bypassed. Junction ahead with another motorway. Drivers should keep in low gear for 1.5 miles. Drivers should keep in low gear for steep hill or tight bend. Goods vehicles should keep to the left-hand lane on approach to checkpoint ahead. Drivers should keep their distance from the vehicle in front. Lane closed ahead, vehicles must move to the next lane on the left. Lane control signal indicating that vehicles may not proceed along the lane directly beneath the signal. Direction of a system of lane control light signals. Lane control signal indicating that vehicles may not proceed along the lane directly beneath the signal. Lane control signals in operation on the road. Lane control signals in operation on the road extending from the junction ahead. Lane open to vehicular traffic. Lane open to vehicular traffic. Junction on left bend ahead. Level crossing ahead is crossed by more than one railway or tramway track, and more than one train or tram car may pass over it in quick succession. Level crossing with gate or barrier ahead. Railway level crossing without gate or barrier ahead. Light signal at level crossing for pedestrians. Light signal conveying the prohibition that vehicular traffic may not use the lane below the sign, gantry mounted. Light signal for pedestrians. Light signals for equestrian traffic. Light signals for pedestrians. Light signals for pedestrians and cyclists at a toucan crossing. Load gauge giving audible warning to drivers where vehicle exceeds safe height under electrified overhead cables. Loading and unloading prohibited during the periods and in the direction indicated. Loading and unloading prohibited during the periods indicated. Loading and unloading prohibited during the periods indicated and in the direction indicated. Bay reserved for loading and unloading. Location of a weight restriction ahead with indication of an alternative route. Location of pay and display ticket machine. Location of roadworks immediately ahead on route indicated. Location of traffic survey. Loose chippings on road ahead. Maximum headroom of 12 feet 6 inches at arch bridge ahead. Low-flying aircraft or sudden aircraft noise likely ahead. Low-flying helicopters or sudden helicopter noise likely ahead. Drivers should engage low gear for steep hill. Maximum headroom of 14 feet 6 inches at hazard ahead. Maximum headroom of 3.8 meters at arch bridge ahead. Maximum headroom of 4.4 meters at hazard ahead. Speed limit of 20 miles per hour. Maximum speed limit of 30 miles per hour. Maximum speed limit of 40 miles per hour. Maximum speed limit of 50 miles per hour. Maximum speed limit of 60 miles per hour. Maximum speed of 20 miles per hour advised at a bend or other hazard. Maximum speed of 30 miles per hour advised at a bend or other hazard. Entrance to a meter parking zone. Vehicles entering the junction must give way to traffic to vehicles coming from the right. Minimum speed limit of 30 miles per hour. Minimum speed limit of 40 miles per hour. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Motorsport. Additional traffic lane available ahead as part of temporary traffic management scheme. Motorway junction ahead, displaying the route number and destination reached by taking this route. Motorway junction ahead leading to a route advised for goods vehicles to the destination shown, which may differ from that for other traffic. Motorway junction ahead leading to a town or geographical area containing several tourist attractions and a tourist information point or center. Motorway junction, displaying route number and destination reached as well as destination reached by remaining on the motorway. Entrance or direction to services. Entrance or junction ahead to services. Route number of the motorway with destinations and distances to places along or reached from that route. Lane closed ahead, vehicles must move to the next lane on the left. Road narrows on both sides ahead. Road narrows on left ahead. Road narrows on right ahead. National speed limits apply. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. National Trust property. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, Nature Reserve. Near side light signals and instructions for horse riders at an equestrian traffic crossing facility. Near side light signals and instructions for pedestrians and cyclists at a toucan crossing. Near side light signals and instructions for pedestrians at a pedestrian facility controlled by light signals. New method of controlling traffic at a railway or tramway level crossing ahead. Permanent change to the road layout ahead. Articulated vehicles prohibited. Buses prohibited. Riding of pedal cycles prohibited. No entry for vehicular traffic. Entry to a car park, private access road, or property from a public road not allowed. Vehicles carrying explosives prohibited. No footway for 400 yards. Absence of hard shoulder for 400 yards. No hard shoulder available for 400 yards. Horse-drawn vehicles prohibited. No left turn for vehicular traffic. Continuous prohibition on loading and unloading. Motor vehicles prohibited. No overtaking. Pedestrians prohibited. Ridden or accompanied horses prohibited. No right turn for vehicular traffic. Temporary absence of road markings for 2 miles. No smoking warning. Solo motorcycles prohibited. No stopping during periods indicated except to pick up or set down passengers. No stopping during periods indicated except to pick up or set down passengers. No stopping for any purpose at any time except buses. No stopping for any purpose during the period indicated. No stopping in lay-by except in emergency. No stopping on main carriageway. No through road for vehicular traffic in direction indicated from junction ahead. No through road for vehicular traffic in direction indicated from junction ahead. No through road for vehicular traffic. Towed caravans prohibited. No U-turns for vehicular traffic. Motor vehicles except solo motorcycles prohibited. All vehicles prohibited. Waiting prohibited except for loading and unloading during the period indicated. Continuous prohibition on waiting except for loading and unloading. Number of lanes of traffic lanes ahead on a dual carriageway reduces from 3 lanes to 2. Traffic in the right-hand lane must move into the lane on the immediate left. Number of lanes of traffic lanes ahead on a primary route reduces from 3 lanes to 2. Traffic in the right-hand lane must move into the lane on the immediate left. Number of route reached from a motorway exit road. Number of route reached from a motorway exit road. Number route for pedal cycles forming part of a national cycle route network. Large vehicles likely to be in middle of road because of narrowness of carriageway. One-way traffic. One-way traffic in direction indicated, sign for pedestrians. Open railway level crossing without light signals. Open tramway level crossing without light signals. Overhead cable repairs ahead. Electrified overhead cable ahead. Distance and direction to a parking place ahead from which a park and ride scheme operates. Place where drivers of large or slow or long low vehicles should park near a level crossing while contacting the signal operator. Directions to different types of parking place from a junction ahead. Parking for motorized caravans or caravans drawn by motor vehicles. Parking place for buses only during the times shown. Parking place for goods vehicles. Parking place for motor cars. Parking place for permit holders with limited waiting permitted by others at specified times. Parking place for permit holders with limited waiting permitted by others at specified times. Parking place for permit holders with limited waiting permitted by others at specified times. Parking place for solo motorcycles. Parking place reserved for resident permit holders. Parking place reserved for voucher parking during the period indicated. Parking place. Traffic signals ahead that only operate at certain times. Passing place on a narrow road. Entrance to a pay and display parking zone. Pay and display ticket-regulated parking place. Route for use by pedal cycles only. Parking place for pedal cycles. Entry to pedestrian zone restricted except for permit holders. Route for use by pedal cycles and pedestrians only. Route comprising a separated track and path for cycles and pedestrians. End of restrictions associated with a pedestrian zone. Prohibition on waiting and loading and unloading in a pedestrian zone during the period indicated. Pedestrians in road ahead. Parking place reserved for permit holders. Picnic area 150 yards ahead. Place where buses may stand, and the stopping of other vehicles is prohibited during the period indicated. Children's playground ahead. Accident ahead and consequent need to proceed with caution. Waiting place at a lay-by or observation platform for police vehicles only. Potential danger temporarily ahead and consequent need to proceed with caution. Area where police carry out checks on the speed of vehicles. Traffic has priority over vehicles from the opposite direction. Prohibition on stopping by vehicles other than taxis during the period indicated. Prohibition on waiting and loading and unloading in a pedestrian zone at any time. Prohibition on waiting by vehicles other than taxis during the period indicated, upper panel, and carriageway reserved for loading and unloading of goods vehicles during the period indicated. Direction to or along a public footpath. Direction to a public telephone. Quayside or riverbank ahead. Traffic queues likely on road ahead. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, racecourse. Ramped entrance to pedestrian overbridge. Ramped entrance to pedestrian subway. Route recommended for pedal cycles on the main carriageway of a road. Entrance to red route clearway. No stopping for any purpose at any time. Reduction in speed necessary for a change in road layout ahead. Reduced headroom over part of road due to overhanging building ahead. Tourist symbol for England only. Tourist attraction recognized by a regional tourist board or the English Tourist Board. Parking place reserved for resident permit holders during the time period indicated. Junction on right bend ahead. Risk of fog ahead. Risk of grounding at a railway or tramway level crossing or humpbacked bridge. Risk of ice ahead. Road hump to the right and at 20 yards. Road humps ahead for half a mile. Road humps ahead to the right for 300 yards. Road liable to flooding ahead. Road unsuitable for articulated vehicles. Road unsuitable for caravans. Road unsuitable for long vehicles. Road unsuitable for motor vehicles. Road unsuitable for trailers. Road unsuitable for wide vehicles. Roadworks or temporary obstruction of the carriageway ahead. Tourist symbol for England and Wales. Site with Roman remains. Roundabout ahead leading from a motorway exit slip road to the tourist attractions shown. Roundabout ahead leading to a temporary diversion route to the destination shown. Roundabout. Route ahead only wide enough for one line of vehicles, but has passing places at intervals. Route for pedal cycles across an entry slip road at a junction ahead. Route for use by tramcars only. Route to be followed at a junction ahead on a motorway for destinations that are not otherwise shown on signs for that junction. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, Safari Park. Safe height beneath electrified overhead cable ahead. School ahead. School crossing patrol ahead. Services are not available on motorway ahead. Availability of motorway service areas ahead with distances. Bend ahead to the left. Sharp bends ahead where traffic is diverted onto a temporary road for a short distance. Sheep likely to be in road ahead. Side road ahead, left. Side road ahead, right. It's likely ahead. Message sign ahead not in use or being tested. Convergence of traffic to a single file in each direction. Road only wide enough for one line of vehicles. Site of emergency telephone or telephone at or near a railway or tramway level crossing. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, ski slope. Slippery road ahead. Distance over which slow-moving vehicles likely to be encountered ahead. Slow-moving military vehicles likely to be crossing or in the road. Slow-moving vehicles likely on incline ahead. Smoke danger ahead. Snowdrifts ahead. Soft verges ahead. Soft verges for 2 miles. Speed camera ahead and reminder of 30 miles per hour speed limit. Reminder to drivers that traffic enforcement cameras are in use. Tourist symbol for England only, sports center. Staggered junction ahead, left, right. Staggered junction ahead, right, left. Staggered junction ahead, right, left. Staggered junction ahead, left, right. Start of a 30 miles per hour speed limit at the boundary of a town or village. Start of a designated quiet lane in England. Start of a designated quiet lane in England. Start of motorway regulations, including the national speed limit. Start of temporary diversion route to the left. Start of temporary diversion route to the right. Steam railway sign. Steep hill downwards ahead, 10%. Steep hill upwards ahead, 20%. Stepped entrance to pedestrian overbridge. Stepped entrance to pedestrian subway. Vehicular traffic must not proceed into a length of road where one-way working is temporarily necessary. Vehicular traffic must not proceed into a length of road where one-way working is temporarily necessary. Opening or swing bridge ahead. System of lane control ahead. T-junction ahead, left. T-junction ahead, right. Temporary access to a construction or roadworks site. Direction of temporary diversion route. Temporary maximum speed of 50 miles per hour advised. Temporary sudden change in level of carriageway surface. The number of a route for pedal cycles forming part of a national cycle route network. The number of a route for pedal cycles forming part of a regional cycle route network. Tourist symbol for England and Wales, pleasure or theme park. Entrance to a ticket parking zone. Migratory toad crossing ahead. Tourist attraction ahead is closed. Tourist attraction recognized by Visit Scotland. Direction to tourist attraction indicated by a symbol. Tourist information point or center. Location of a tourist information point or center. Tourist symbol for Wales only. Tourist attraction recognized by the Welsh Tourist Board. Start of area with traffic calming features. Traffic joining a length of road being controlled by portable traffic signals is not controlled by these signals. Light signal not in use. Traffic merges ahead from the left. Traffic merges ahead onto main carriageway from the left. Traffic on road ahead is being controlled by portable light signals. Traffic signals ahead. Tram cars crossing ahead. Tram cars crossing ahead. Risk of brake failure after crossing a ford or before descending a steep gradient. Traffic passing the sign must keep to the left of the sign. Tunnel ahead. Two-way traffic. Two-way traffic on route crossing ahead. Uneven road ahead. Road unsuitable for heavy goods vehicles. Traffic should use the hard shoulder in an emergency. Use of verge maintained in mown or ornamental condition by specified traffic prohibited. Vehicle emissions checkpoint ahead. Vehicle excise license checkpoint ahead. Vehicles exceeding 14 feet 6 inches in height prohibited. Vehicles exceeding 32 feet 6 inches in length indicated prohibited. Vehicles exceeding 6 feet 6 inches in width indicated prohibited. Vehicles exceeding a gross weight of 18 tons prohibited from crossing the bridge or structure. Vehicles exceeding a gross weight of 33 tons prohibited from crossing the bridge or structure. Vehicles exceeding a gross weight of 7.5 tons prohibited from crossing the bridge or structure. Vehicles exceeding height indicated are prohibited. Height is displayed in both metric and imperial units. Vehicles may be directed to stop at a traffic survey ahead. Vehicles may be parked partially on the verge or footway. Vehicles may be parked partially on the verge or footway during the period indicated. Vehicles may be parked partially on the verge or footway in marked bays. Vehicles may be parked wholly on the verge or footway. Vehicles may not pass the temporary traffic signals when the red light is shown. Vehicles may not pass the temporary traffic signals when the red light is shown at a junction. Vehicles must stop at a census traffic point. Hey, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. And if you want to support us, you can just go to our channel and click on the join button to join our channel membership, link in the description. Your support helps us bring you more content to ace your theory test. Now, let's get back to the video. Vehicles requiring access are exempted from the prohibition conveyed by the associated sign. Vehicles should reduce speed on approaching a traffic survey ahead. Vehicular traffic may reach the same destination by passing either side of the sign. Vehicular traffic must leave at next junction. Vehicular traffic must not go beyond the sign where displayed temporarily by a constable in uniform or by a traffic warden. Vehicular traffic must not stop within the area of a railway or tramway level crossing. Vehicular traffic must proceed in the direction indicated by the arrow. Vehicular traffic must proceed in the direction indicated by the arrow. Vehicular traffic must turn ahead in the direction indicated by the arrow. Vehicular traffic should not proceed beyond the sign when displayed during works on or near the road. Vehicular traffic should proceed slowly owing to temporary hazard resulting from wet tar on the road. Vehicular traffic should proceed slowly owing to workforce in the road. End of controlled or voucher parking zone. Waiting by goods vehicles over a gross weight of 5 tons, prohibited during the periods and in the direction indicated. Waiting prohibited during the period and in the direction indicated, upper panel, and loading and unloading prohibited during the periods and in the direction indicated, lower panel. Waiting prohibited during the period and in the direction indicated, upper panel, and loading and unloading prohibited during the periods and in the direction indicated, lower panel. Waiting prohibited during the period indicated, upper panel, and loading and unloading prohibited during the periods indicated, lower panel. Waiting prohibited during the period indicated, upper panel, and parking place reserved for doctor permit holders during the periods indicated, lower panel. Waiting prohibited during the periods indicated, upper panel, and parking for all vehicles, with restrictions on length of waiting time and return period. Lower panel. Waiting prohibited during the periods indicated. Upper panel. Loading prohibited during periods indicated. Middle panel. And pay and display, ticket-regulated parking available during the period indicated with directions to ticket machine. Lower panel. Waiting prohibited except for loading and unloading during the period and in the direction indicated. Waiting prohibited except for loading and unloading during the period indicated. Waiting prohibited except for loading and unloading during the times and in the direction indicated. Waiting prohibited in designated off-highway loading area during the period indicated except by permitted vehicles. Waiting prohibited in the direction indicated, upper panel, and loading and unloading prohibited in the direction indicated, lower panel. Warning for pedestrians to look out for tramway traffic approaching from both directions. Warning for pedestrians to look out for tramway traffic approaching from the left. Warning for pedestrians to look out for tramway traffic approaching from the right. Warning of light signals at a level crossing without a gate or barrier ahead. Warning of light signals in the vicinity of a fire station. Watercourse alongside road ahead. Wild animals likely to be in road ahead. Wild fowl likely to be in road ahead. With flow bus lane, which pedal cycles and taxis may also use ahead. With flow cycle lane ahead. With flow cycle lane. Temporary entrance to a construction or roadworks site. Temporary exit from a construction or roadworks site. Temporary access to a construction or roadworks site. Youth hostel 200 yards in the direction indicated. Managed youth hostel 1 mile ahead. Zebra crossing ahead. End of a controlled parking zone applying to goods vehicles over a gross weight of 5 tons. For more practice and updates, click on the video you are watching on the screen. Keep building your confidence and get closer to passing your theory test. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.